All right, everybody. Good morning. It's Friday, March 20th, 2020. We are on our last day of the Black Death lesson. Today, we're going to be talking about what were the effects of the Black Death, social, political, and economic effects of the Black Death. So by the end of today, we will have completed the whole packet for the Black Death, and I will give instructions on how to send in your work and or just prove that you're doing the work. So we're going to start out by looking at this this graph right here, and the question is, explain the purpose of the graph above. Now, of course, author's purpose or purpose for a document is a regent style question. So this is good practice for your regents. So you're going to explain the purpose of the graph above in your own words, and that's how we'll start out the lesson as the right now. Then we're going to just come to this page, and here's some vocabulary for you that I threw in there. Various types of effects. Okay, so obviously people are messaging me on Teams. I've gotten added to about 1,000 Teams in the last 2 days, so they're still adding me to Teams. But anyway, here we go. So political effects, social effects, economic effects. Those are various types of effects that could happen in a society. And then you have short-term and long-term effects. So political effects, things that impact how a nation is run, who's in charge, its laws, how much freedom people have, how it deals with other nations, etc. Social effects impacts the social hierarchy or how people interact. Economic effects impacts trade, business, jobs, money, and resources. And then you have short-term effects, which are things that impact you immediately for a relatively short period of time. And we worked on short-term effects of the plague when we did our first right now for this lesson. And then long-term effects, things that may have impacted you, which have continued for a long time or will continue for a long time in the future. So you're going to look at that that vocabulary, okay, and then you're going to take it to here. So we're going to have this is basically where you're going to graphic organizer to organize your thoughts as you go through this packet. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Scuba, which we learned earlier in the year as our annotation strategy, and which we've been using. So scan, circle, underline, box, annotate. I'm not going to explain it. We've gone over that a bunch of times. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at these documents. There are 6 documents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so basically you're going to look at these 6 documents, and using the annotation strategy of Scuba, you're going to look for social, political, and economic effects, and whether they are short-term or long-term. So as you go through the reading, you're just going to annotate, and you're going to look for evidence of short and long-term effects. You're going to look for evidence of political, social, and economic effects as well. So then when you're done with that, you go to the exit slip at the end here, and you're just going to write a couple of sentences talking about how people's lives were affected, how people were affected, how many were affected, and how long they were affected. And then you can use some of these sentence starters over here on the right. This event had positive and negative effects such as. So they give you sentence starters to finish out the lesson. So that's basically it. That's the end of the lesson. Okay? And if you have any problems or questions, please don't hesitate to hit me up on Remind. Everybody, I hope stay safe. Have a great day. And we'll talk to you on Monday.